Before Battlefield 5 was unveiled and became known as Battlefield 1, I was skeptical of having a Battlefield game set in World War I, mainly because of what Hardline was like and the response it got from the Battlefield community. I thought if EA took another risky shot and set the next Battlefield somewhere unorthodox or unfamiliar to the Battlefield franchise, it would be hated as much as Battlefield Hardline. So I made a video a while back calling the World War I setting stupid when it was just a rumor. I said in that video if there was ever going to be a World War I Battlefield, EA and DICE has to meet a few requirements in order for it to be accepted by the fans. And from watching the trailer, I gotta say, it looks like they delivered on most of the stipulations. Now if you haven't watched my video, I highly recommend that you do. First thing that I asked from DICE is that they make the game absolutely gory. World War I was a deadly, bloody war. So the developers need to reflect that to us in order for us to feel like we're in World War I. They need to make the game bloody on a scary level. The amount of goriness needs to be high. We need to see blood mixed with mud and people bleeding in the field as we charge the trenches. People screaming for help as they're wounded. They need to make us feel sick to our stomach. And I know listening to this, you're thinking to yourself, man, this guy is sick. And not in the cool way. But I just want this game to reflect the real World War I and not just look like it's World War I. We need dismemberment on micro level scale, where as if you get a headshot, you won't see a head dismembered, but parts of the skull broken off, and that's similar to other parts of the body. From looking at the trailer, we can see that DICE definitely added a whole lot of gory elements to the game. I mean, the trailer starts with someone getting beaten to death. However, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing any micro level dismemberment, although it's still not clear. But from the trailer, we can see that both melee kills were bloody, but didn't cause any dismemberments. Another thing I asked for is for the game to look beautiful. Not in terms of graphics and how realistic it looks like, but the graphical style. I asked that the game's environments has a sort of a beauty in the horrible look to it. Kinda like The Last of Us or The Walking Dead game. The game needs to look pretty when you take a look at it and then realize how horrible is the thing that you're doing. And this is the second thing that the developers delivered on. The game looked stunning, both in its graphical fidelity and just in its style. This leaves us with three things. Where the game is set exactly, as in what year Battlefield 1 is set in World War I's timeline. The second thing is the balancing of the multiplayer, and the third and last thing is the story of the game. Let's talk about where the game is exactly set. If you've seen my previous video, we determined that Battlefield 1 is going to take place from 1916 to 1918. This was determined after I figured out what were the models of the planes and the tanks, or land vehicles as they call them back then, were used in the trailer. From there, I knew when they were produced and deployed, which gave us the game's timeline. Now, I know this isn't exactly double confirmed by DICE or EA, but doing this research gave us a little information. I'll leave the links to all my findings in the description below so you can make your own deduction out of it. And this moves us to the balancing of the multiplayer. Now, in my World War I rumor video that I made a while ago, I talked about the amount of weapons that were used in World War I. Most of the weapons were standard issue bolt action rifles. Rifles like the British Lee Enfields, German cars, get it? German cars, because it sounds like car, the vehicle. Alright, I'll move on. There's also the Russian Gewehr and Mosin Nagant, and really many more bolt action rifles. There wasn't really a lot of automatic weapons in World War I. Most of them were machine guns. Knowing that means that the multiplayer might get slow. The gameplay would rely more on accuracy and less on speed and putting bullets down range. unless they added some sort of an innovation system, kinda like the one in Fallout 4, except it's much more simpler. Since World War I was the breakout in advanced and modern weaponry and vehicles, why not let us be a part of that experience? Why not let us build our own unique weapons? This would certainly add the customization ability to Battlefield 1, and it would make the game's balancing focus more on other aspects than just the accuracy. And lastly, it's the story. World War I's great advantage to DICE developing Battlefield 1 is that it's filled with amazing battles and stories to tell. Now, from reading the official Battlefield website, it looks like Battlefield 1 is going to involve battles set in places like Italy, France, Germany, the Middle East, and really many more. You can check the link in the description below. Now, as amazing as these places sound, I want to know what kind of story we're getting. And like I discussed in my previous video, this guy, who we still don't know his name, seems to be the character who we're going to be in control of. It looks like from the trailer we're getting some sort of a biopic story where we play as a recruit who we get to experience World War I through him. Now, this is based entirely from things I noticed in the trailer, but it looks like we're going to see a character-driven story where players aren't really forgettable pieces of polygon, but memorable characters in a story. That's exactly what I asked for. I also asked for a player-driven story as well, where we are given choices in the campaign which could be amazing in World War I, because there wasn't really a discernible bad guy in World War I, and so player choices could really hit players' morale and ethics in this game's story. But anyways, that's all I got right now. Please leave a comment down below if you got anything to add or just want to express what do you feel knowing these things that I told you. Do you agree with what I said or do you not agree? Is that even a question? Is that a proper question to ask? Anyways, do you think you can do better? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And that's all. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then give me the likes and give me the comments. And if you dislike this video, then I really don't give a fuck about the dislikes. My ethics have been ruined a long time ago. Subscribe to my channel to help me reach 1,000 subscribers and share my videos to your relatives and friends because sharing my videos will get my channel noticed. This was MZ101, and guys, see you later. Next time.